Hello, you're watching Bent TV. My name is Erin Kyan, my pronouns are he, him, and we are broadcasting from the Kulin Nation. And today I am joined by Dorian Manticore, pronouns they, them, and Dorian is here to talk to us about paganism and queerness and gender and how they all interact, especially here in Melbourne. So Dorian, hi.
Hello.
So could you tell us a little bit about who you are and how this all affects you, where you stand in it?
Well, I am a Melbourne local. I'm an artist and writer and also very active in Melbourne and Australia's pagan community. There's quite a thriving pagan community in Australia. There's a lot of different communities to be involved in with different religions under the pagan umbrella and different traditions and things like that. It's all very exciting. And I'm personally one of the core founders of a new emerging tradition.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so my kind of pagan origin story basically is very tied in with the genesis of this tradition. So when I was younger, I kind of fell into paganism because I was very dissatisfied by mainstream religion offerings. My family weren't particularly religious, but I found that I wanted to have more of an intimate one-on-one connection with divinity. And so I found paganism, and within paganism, some of it can be quite heteronormative. So there's the male energies and female energies.
I was going to say the whole goddess power idea,
Yeah, and a lot of it came out of kind of 60s and 70s first wave feminism as well, which doesn't translate well into our modern age.
Yeah.
So I found myself at a point where, even though I really love paganism as just as that broader umbrella, I found that I wasn't really finding anywhere that I really fit perfectly into. It was just always kind of having to kind of grit my teeth through some of the unpleasant bits, or just not really feeling like it was that puzzle piece just clicking in.
Yeah.
So I started working on a tradition that is going strong in Melbourne at the moment. It's called the Sovereigns of the Golden Path, and we have a small group of people, and it's kind of a collaborative community effort in building a queer-centric paganism. So it's become quite a focus in my life is helping to develop this, and it's very much focused as being like a kind of a jumping off point for people. Because they might use this as their introduction to paganism, but they may or may not drift off onto other things. But we want it to be as accessible as possible. So we're really focusing on being as welcome to people's different levels of skill and knowledge when it comes to paganism, and also physical accessibility issues as well.
Yeah, because I imagine there's a lot of sort of barriers between people, especially queer people, especially gender non-conforming and trans people, in getting into paganism. How do you help bridge those sort of gaps?
Well, because we're very upfront about being queer focused, a lot of people who might be kind of most of them are coming from the queer community into the pagan community, and we're kind of trying to ease that transition because Melbourne, especially as queer community, is quite close-knit. It gives a lot of people an entry point, because they might know somebody already interested in it, and that enables them to come in, because I found that it's often really unsuccessful to try to break into community solo. When you go to I threw myself into Melbourne's Reclaiming Witchcraft community. I went to one of their week-long intensives alone, and it was terrifying, and I wouldn't want to put that pressure on anybody else. So this way, because I'm also quite active in the queer community and being out there and trying to be accessible to people to come and talk to me, so we want to make it easy for people to become involved in paganism if it's something that they're curious about. Yeah,
so it's kind of like those little stepping stones rather than trying to just throw people in the deep end.
Exactly.
What do you think, for the people who don't yet know that this is what they want and what they need, what can your beliefs and what can paganism bring to queer and trans people that they might not be finding elsewhere?
Yeah, I think there's really, it's very rewarding because you can, like I mentioned earlier, you can have that one-on-one contact with the divine, and it's a lot of pagan practice. It's very introspective. Sometimes I like to joke that witchcraft is cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a fantastic way of both connecting with community and self-exploration.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as we joke about that, like that healing, like we all carry so much trauma
Absolutely.
from living in this world. Like finding that healing is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of queer people in their personal journeys tend to be quite introspective already. And this is just another part of exploring parts of themselves that general wider society might have not been allowing them to have that avenue.
So if people want to get started, like if they want to take their first steps or start learning about this stuff, where can they go to do that?
My tradition personally has a website, queerpagan.com. Then if people are living in Melbourne or Victoria, there's also a collective that I am a part of called the Pagan Collective of Victoria. And we run fairly frequent meetups and workshops and have a kind of a loose collective that are very friendly, and you can come in and we have like roundtable discussions about things. So it's a good place to kind of try before you buy, really. Yeah. There's a lot of variety. There's the reclaiming community, there's a couple of different branches of Druidry and things like that. So it can be a little bit overwhelming to find where you fit in, but yeah, so there's a lot of options.
But a good place to start to get a feel for it all.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Dorian, thank you so much for chatting to us about this.
Thank you.
That's really, this is really interesting, and I think it's really important, for queer people to find their places of faith where they're welcome. So I'm really glad that you're doing the work in building that sort of community here in Melbourne. It's really important.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been watching Bent TV. My name is Erin Kyan. Thank you for watching.